possible for us to we may use video conferencing, we may use technology that we have to give them some sensibility for the importance of the reading and the training of reading. We don't have that at their curriculum, right? We don't have that question. From explicit question.
No, they have put in at the secondary school. They have 4 or 5 books, Cape Verdean, Brazilian, that they study literature. So they are supposed. It's mandatory that you have to read. But at the primary school, it's true. It's just the books. Capítulos. Yeah. But they're supposed at the end of 11 and 12 grade, they're supposed to read all the books, but never time, it's but I think we can do some, like she said, innovations in some schools with students and teachers are motivated and can try to share, because it's to do what you are doing. It's a cultural revolution. Cultural revolution takes time for us, because the Reitor said our problem that we have in language is very, 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 very strong. Identity and autoestima.
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem. It's a complex. It's a complex problem.
Well, the first slide would have been good if some of the professors had been able to come to my talks. They were not able to. But the first slide in my presentation yesterday talked about changing the mindset. Because a mindset is there. And it doesn't change unless you actively change it. And the last slide said, if it doesn't begin with Cape Verdean teachers, it will not begin at all. So when you said we have to change, that is the place where it must change. The mindset that we don't really need to read has to change in the minds of teachers. And I asked the students yesterday, your students, Uni-CV students, they said, I'm going to ask you a favor. Would you go out and start to try to get yourself to read? And they smile. And I said, but it won't change unless you change it within yourself first. And then you can tell people about how important it is. But if I tell people how important it is to read, and someone says, do you read? And I say, no.
Of course.
Okay. So it does. It has to start with your students, but it has to start with the teachers, the professors here. Have to accept that mindset. And they weren't at my talk, so I didn't convince anybody. But maybe you could convince some that it's important. I mean, the times were just, it wasn't that they didn't want it, it was just impossible.
Yeah. The other thing is that the majority of, and this is another thing that I think is definitely has potential and should change, and that's the idea, is that the majority of English professors at Uni-CV are Americans. So, I think that wanting to get those professors into your sessions was a great idea, but I think what we're talking about was more focused on those students that we have who are definitely planning on becoming high school teachers themselves, right? Because I think you would have been preaching to the choir in a way with at least the Uni-CV English professors, right? Because this is our assignment essentially, and I would personally like to see a fully Cape Verdean staff, for the most part, Department of English too. And this is what we're talking about, and it's about sustainability. It's about having ownership of one's own educational system, and it is there in a lot of ways. But at this transitional phase, I don't think there's nothing wrong with, of course, having foreign nationals on the teaching staff. But I think it was perfect. What I'm saying is it was perfect to be talking to those students at that point in their career and that point in their own education so that they are thinking about these things now. And so when they get to the classroom for the first time, and then, you know, some of them were saying, oh, I think I'll be a teacher. I don't. Many of them will, right? Because, you know, it's a strong part of the community as well to become a teacher, and there's a very it's a very honorable thing to be a teacher. And if students are kind of unsure at this point, you know, I'm not saying that everyone will become a teacher, but many of them will. So no matter what they are studying right now in particular, they will definitely always have that option. And so many of them, at least at some point in their life, will become teachers, and I think that is the target audience for your message. And so I was happy to see them listening and considering these things, because sometimes it's easy to fall to the wayside when they're busy, the practicality of their schoolwork.
Do pedagogy professors feel that reading is important? Do they teach pedagogy courses? Do they talk about using trade books and plays?
Yes.
Pedagogy.
Yes. We have an entrance test to Uni-CV, and last year we made, it's not a research but an analysis from the performance score for the students in English test, and what it's we can say that first they have big problems with writing, and after reading. So there's the test tell us, confirm us
Portuguese?
this. No, in English. In Portuguese it's the same problem.
Okay.
Yes, it's not because Portuguese is our official language and teaching language and learning English. No, it's the same problem.
Okay.
Problem, reading. We know maybe something about the origin of this problem. And if you cannot read, you cannot write. So yeah, but the writing problem, it seems it's the big one. But I think we must start by the reading,
Yes.
and we can
Yes,
after
That's a
maybe
model.
have some solutions for our
Right, it's a model.
reading,
Models for your
writing.
writing.
Okay, yes. So I just wanted to ask if any of you have any last thoughts or ideas, or just impressions that you wanted to share with the Reitor or with Dr. Linda. So if you guys have any last things to say, feel free.
Thank you for having us. It's a very beautiful campus. Thank you for having us here.
Yeah. Thank you. Everyone was very hospitable and very nice and very welcome to so learning and all that.
Yeah, and they're looking forward to your feedback when you go back to the States and the ideas you want to continue to share. People have?
Yeah, I think this experience really awesome because I didn't take any teaching class yet, and this is really good because I took some notes about how to become a better teacher, and I think that this experience is really going to help me to become a better teacher. Yeah, because when I was here as a student, I didn't notice the problem that's been going on here, like the way teachers teach. And when I was here, it was fine. I didn't notice any like issues. But now it helped me see a lot of, how can I say, a lot of ways, a lot of things that teachers missing when they teach. For example, prepare before going to class, something like that. Yeah, so that's. Thank you.